Hey everyone, how's it going? I am sorry that it's been a few weeks since I've recorded a video for you. I usually try to do these a little more often, but it's been a crazy couple of weeks. But I'm hopeful that things are going to get a little less crazy. So this particular video is on instructions. I'm sorry I didn't get this out before you got your drafts done, but I wanted to get something out before you have to turn in your final. So a few guidelines to think about. Obviously, your book does a pretty good job talking about things, so there might be some overlap, but things that I want you to keep in mind when doing instructions. Number one, you should have an opening where you tell us, obviously a title, and then give us a little bit, give the person an overview of what the instructions are for. Maybe if there's any background knowledge, anything that they need to know or why they might use these instructions. It might just be a couple of sentences. It might be a couple more, but it shouldn't be super long. Then, of course, you're going to want a list of items needed, right? So what equipment or information would it be that people need in order to follow these instructions? So you might come up with an initial list, but then as you go through the instructions, realize, oh, wait, no, they're also going to need this. So make sure you're adding things as you go. Then for your actual instructions themselves, a few things. Number one, the steps should be numbered, not just bullet points. Use bullet points for the items needed, but the actual instructions should be numbered. Every item should start with an active verb for the most part, with a few little exceptions, but really it should be rare, right? So, push the lever down, open this, go here. Make sure that you're putting in active verbs to start the instructions. You can absolutely add hints in your instructions. So, push the lever, hint. If it doesn't go down, it could be that you need to go back to step 2 or whatever hint it might be. You can also put in warnings, right? So if something might be hot or if something might get stuck or there could be a problem, maybe put in a warning for people. We don't want to overdo those things, but adding a few of those in when necessary, certainly okay. Then have some sort of conclusion statement, to kind of have them feel like know that it's done, right? Just something quick. We want visuals as well. You don't necessarily have to have a visual for every step. That isn't a requirement. Depends on what you're doing. If you feel that it's necessary, you certainly can. You can have visuals that are at the beginning that kind of give an overview of what the machine looks like or what the flow of the process is. You can have visuals within the instructions, especially for any steps that are maybe a little tricky. And you can also have a visual at the end that shows the finished product or the finished whatever it should look like when it's done. You choose which of those things that you want, but have at least a few in there. You don't have to create the visuals yourself, but you can. You're welcome to take pictures or screenshots if those will work for you to show your pictures. But you can also go out into the wild west of the internet and find visuals. Just a bit of a caution here though. As far as school goes, for just a quick school project, you can grab any visual that you want. Just make sure that you put a note in the caption that tells us where you got it, or hyperlink the image to where you got it, something like that. But it's okay for you to use them for an educational purpose. This is not okay though when you're at work. When you're doing anything where you might be making money from this, you cannot just grab any old image from the internet. Make sure that you're looking for things that are available for non-commercial use, or actually even more than that, just available for reuse. The Creative Commons, if you just Google Creative Commons, you'll get sites that tell you, or that have a whole bunch of pictures and images that are free to use. And I'll put up more about this when we get into some of our reports later on, but just wanted to kind of put that out there for you. It's totally fine to use anything you find for class, not so much at work. Let's see. Oh, so then the last piece is, of course, you want to caption any photo that you put in your instructions. So I'll make sure, I know I've got some YouTube videos to help you with it, and I'll put those out there. But if you're using Word, it's actually pretty easy. You just have to right click on the photo and choose caption, and then you can label it. Always make sure, anytime, not just in this class, but ever and ever, that you put in a photo that or a visual that is referring to something specifically in the text, i.e. not just like an opening photo or a closing photo. Make sure that you label it and refer to it in the text. So that means label it figure 1, and then in the step where you need them to look at it, make sure you say see figure 1. We always want to have that back and forth. Also, give a description of what the photo is. While we're not spending a ton of time on 508 compliance in this class, it is essential that you label every visual with a word description of what is in the photo, so that anyone using a reader that can't see the photo will know what the photo is, at least of, even if they can't necessarily see all the details of it. Okay, so make sure you've got your visuals, make sure you're using those active verbs, make sure you don't forget any steps, right? That it balloons very quickly, right? So don't skip any steps. And I hope you have fun with your instructions. Thanks.